Good morning, people, and welcome to Your Morning Cup with Chuck, where I help you get inspired, educated, and motivated to a point where all you think is positive thoughts, baby, and positive thoughts create positive action. Welcome to the First Cupkc. This podcast is powered by Podcast.
I have two special guests with me today. I have ESAI Moreno and Mark Garcia. Yes.
Yep.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for showing up.
Thanks for having me, dude.
Yeah,
it's a
I know.
blast.
It's pretty crazy because this is your studio.
I know. It must have been a long drive for you, wasn't it?
I know.
Yeah,
I had to stretch out of bed.
So how was the roads?
Oh, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. That snow was a little unexpected for everybody. I don't think everybody's prepared.
Well, guys, not only are these guys the producers of the show, they are also part of the No Solutions podcast crew.
Is that what you want that applause?
Yeah.
Right there?
Crew.
Make it louder.
Should I say crew?
The SPSC.
Anyway, man,
All right, I forgot an N.
Yeah.
I remember at one point I was a guest on your show.
Episode 4 and 4 part 2.
Yeah, I thought it was 3 or something.
No, it was
maybe
four.
it was 4.
It was 4 and it was 2 parts because
I talk a lot.
No, you were our longest one. We had you on for probably 2.5 hours.
We were like 3 hours. We were like honestly 3 hours.
Yeah,
We were playing around too much.
And conspiracies got brought up, and you know how we get with conspiracies.
Hey, you viewers, you just don't even know what's coming. 2022, it's about to be some crazy stuff pop off. So, but anyway, I got a question that the people who follow you guys, I'm pretty sure they want to know this question. First of all, before I even ask that question, I want to ask the first question, which is, what inspired you guys to even start a podcast?
I'll take this one, Mark.
That's fine. Take it.
So it was probably 2019. The middle of 2018. I got my first job where I was able to wear headphones. So I was listening to podcasts like 8 hours a day, literally 8 hours a day, different podcasts.
T-shirt place.
Yeah, that's where it started. Yeah, and listening to them, I always liked it because you could like get to know a person better, like especially the famous people. Like you want to really know how they are in real life, how they interact with people. Mm-hmm. So that's why I liked watching and listening to the podcast, because it's just like a different perspective on something, and you get to see if someone's really genuine or if they're not. Yeah,
it's kind of like general information.
Yeah. So
you know what it reminds me of? You remember the old Howard Stern?
Yep, he was the godfather.
Man,
he's
pretty much the one that kicked it off, especially all that crazy stuff.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Howard.
I'll tell you what, that kind of me up as a kid, only because I didn't realize what I was watching.
It exposed you too early.
It kind of did, because I'd be watching, like, you flip to his channel in the middle of the night and you got some like chick where tits are blurred out and they're doing some shit on the set. I'm like, what am I watching?
What the hell's going on here?
It took me forever to learn that he was the guest or the judge on America's Got Talent. Like, oh shit, that's the guy.
And another one was Opie and Anthony up there in New York.
Yeah,
they're a popular one too. They're pretty much free form, long conversation podcasts when they weren't playing music.
Now we trying to all get like Joe.
Yeah. No, he was definitely probably our biggest inspiration, because like first thing we did was go and look up all his equipment, like see how much that shit was. Of course, we had to buy all the knockoffs to his, because that shit, like his whole set, $25,000 easy, like easy. And I was like, Jesus. We ended up spending. I'm comfortable talking about it. We invested as a group, me, Mia, and Mark. We all invested $1,000 apiece, so it was like $3,000 to get all of this set up.
Yeah, you guys are boy, and I'm glad you did.
Yeah, no, and it's expanding. Like people don't see it because like we've slowed down our podcast, but we're expanding like big time. Like we're gonna have a website coming out soon, and what was I not supposed to say that yet, or what?
That's one of the questions for later.
Okay, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, so like, yeah, we didn't think it was gonna get to where it was, but get to where it is now, because honestly, me, Mark, and Mia, at some point we kind of were like, shit, this ain't working out, But we're keeping on with it, and it's growing now.
I think we can talk about it more like once we get into the questions, because there's more I want to say about it, because our approach is a little unethical to most people's how we go about it.
Yeah.
But we can talk about it
sure.
more when we get into the questions.
Yeah.
Chuck.
Speaking of question, why no solution?
You got that.
I got this one?
You remember, right?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Because there were no other names available. Literally.
We did the trial and error. So we went to Apple Podcasts and we just typed in names that we were thinking would be a cool name.
And I had a bunch of clever ones. Like, it was like they gave me, hey, come up with something clever. And I came up with a bunch of like clever and they were all taken, which was really upsetting. Like, I came up with really some simple ones. I was like, all right, like 3 P's in a podcast or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Taken.
Taken.
Like last 3 brain cells taken or something. Just, I was like, ah. So then you just eventually started typing whatever wasn't
and we were
available.
like, well, we don't have no solutions. And ding, light bulb.
No solutions. So basically, no solutions mean your podcast talks about pretty much a bunch of stuff that there's no.
Yeah, so like that's one question that we do get a lot is what's your podcast about? Like, because some podcasts like your guys's, like yours, is directed more towards the business motivational side of like people's aspect of life or whatever. And ours, we just talked about everything and anything,
Conspiracy theorists, politics,
drugs, religion,
Oh
everything.
man, those some deep ones.
Yeah,
We
haven't even got deep on a lot of them though.
So one thing I like about your podcast is, first of all, I like the people in it because I know y'all.
Yeah.
Secondly, man, the personalities. Mia, she had a very, very broad personality that brought viewers to the show because of she's a female.
Mm-hmm.
She's pretty.
We're barely breaking even. Me and Issa on the show.
I know.
We're not that handsome.
Well,
Shit.
I'm just saying,
Views
man.
went down.
You guys make.
make.
I think you guys make up for it because you guys be having like.
Yeah, we're good at bantering back and forth for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's because my deep rooted hate for Marcos sometimes.
Oh man.
It really
It might
helps.
be, Yeah. We go back and forth a lot. A lot of the stuff is cut on the ground floor. Like, just
Yeah.
everyone, you, you.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of things like that I'm gonna have to cut out. No, like we end up cutting out a lot.
So
because
how
it
much
gets
do you
bad.
edit out when you do the show?
It's a lot of that I say.
It ends up being probably like 15 to 30 minutes worth of stuff.
Oh, that
Well, I
ain't
mean,
bad.
like that depends. Like if it's us bantering over something really not important at all
Yeah.
to the conversation, or us just doing a quick session of something else that just didn't tie in, or me saying something super fucked up that we got to cut out later in the show.
And keep in mind, the only reason I cut it out is because of YouTube. Because YouTube flags for a lot of things, and they'll shadow ban you if certain things are said that are inappropriate or misleading.
How many episodes are you guys in now?
61.
So you guys are on your second. How many?
So
go ahead.
seasons. You were gonna ask seasons?
Yep.
Okay. Seasons. We're technically on our second season.
Huh.
We decided that we want to do over 1,000 podcasts when it's said and done. So we're gonna do seasons by 50 episodes.
Oh, that's pretty neat. And they run about what, 30 minutes to an hour?
Yeah, about 45
at
to an
least,
hour.
at the least about 30 minutes. We try, if you get a solid 30-minute podcast, at least something to listen to.
Yeah.
The most we've done, like we said, was like yours, like the almost 3 hours that we had to split up just for more kind of content.
Because man, I'm telling you, I talk a lot. Man. I mean, they said, dude, you talk so much, you need a podcast.
Right?
Well, let me talk to somebody about that.
No, it's, honestly, if people out there like talking, like come to us and we'll set you up with the podcast, because I think podcasts are really important because people are able to share their opinions and like long form so they can explain themselves. It's not a quick Facebook post that aggravates tons of people,
Right.
It's someone's able to say exactly what's on their mind
and explain it a little better.
And I think that face-to-face conversation with people is dying, so it's important to have outlets like this.
Oh, it's dying. I watched the thing on, me and my wife watched Netflix the other day, and they had a show on there. It was a documentary called The Social Media Dilemma.
Yep. Social dilemma.
Man, talking about an impact document.
Yep.
If you guys out there haven't watched it, you probably need to go and check it out, especially if you have little kids coming up, because a lot of people don't understand that right now. Your little kids are wanting more and more and more access to the online world. And I'm just saying, 14, 15, 16-year-olds, those ages right there, they have peaked in the last 20 years. Homicides, suicides. I mean, a lot of stuff is going on in that time frame of age with the social media stuff. And right now, the younger kids that's growing up, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, I'm just saying, I see a lot of parents buying cell phones,
tablets,
downloading all these TikTok applications on the iPads for them to jump on TikTok. Man, let me just tell you guys, my personal opinion, TikTok is not for young kids. That's just my opinion. I'm just saying. And if you do give them access to these social media websites, you definitely have to make sure you are monitoring every aspect of it, because I'm telling you, all it takes is 5 seconds and your kid's scared for the rest of his life. And I'm going to give you an example. My grandson was on his iPad one day, and we were all in the living room, and he had the iPad on, and the volume was up a little to where everyone could hear it. And all of a sudden, we start hearing some thrashing. And next thing you know, it was a 5 to 10 second clip of some killer stuff. And it went right back to the cartoon he was watching. It was like halfway in the middle of the video, just embedded. So you got to definitely make sure you're watching out for what your kids are watching out there, because it'll definitely, it can definitely screw them up in the years to come. Yeah. I mean, just look at us three.
And if you don't have time to watch that Social Dilemma, it's basically like the psychology of all these social media websites and YouTubes and the TikToks, like you were saying.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much just showing you how they keep you in tune with it. They keep you wanting to keep scrolling and keep scrolling. That's why, like, you see there's an ad every like 3 posts on Facebook, and it's always something that you're interested in. If you were just looking on Amazon, they're trying to feed you what you want.
Yeah.
And Facebook is, they talk about it on there. They're a social media platform that pushes more of the negative stuff that's going to aggravate you more than stuff that's going to make you happy or whatever.
Yeah, you know? It creates content that people magnetize to.
Yeah.
Another thing they do is, let's just say a period of time, maybe 6 hours go by and you don't pick up and look at the Facebook app. They will literally send you things that'll hit your notification.
So-and-so just posted.
Yep, someone's near you. You know, it's all these little things just to get you to interact with that app. And it's like, man, crazy thing about that is you think that Facebook is free. You think Instagram and Twitter, you think these sites are free. And when all actuality, they're not. You're being sold, you know, and the crazy thing about it is you're also being changed, you know, and it changes you, because as long as you're interacting with that program and you're not interacting with your job or interacting with your family, it's changing things. It might not seem like big changes, but those big changes become big changes with a whole bunch of small changes. So just keep in mind. But anyway, man, what does the No Solutions podcast crew got coming up for the year 2022? I know you guys got a lot of stuff coming up, because
you're the ideas, guys.
Yeah. So for starters, we're gonna get back on track with our podcast, because we just haven't had much time ever since I started my 9-to-5 job, to like scheduling and having time and family time. It's getting really tough, because a lot of people don't know how like much goes into this crap, especially like after editing and all that. But
if I could interject in here real quick, it's not like we don't want to do it. It's just part of it. Like, I don't know for you, but I know for me, like, the concept is, it's a little scary. I mean, to quit everything and focus on your dream, which would be the podcast, that's a very hard thing to go all in at first.
Exactly.
So I mean, you got to find that right time. When is the right time? When do I have like a little bit of something behind me financial wise that we can do this, and then eventually start making money from it and so on.
Exactly. So really the only thing that's stopping us from going all in on this is investors. So, you know, if you guys want to invest in a podcast, I'm about to explain a little more that what's going to be going on. I'm going to hype it up, because it's all really going to come into fruition. Some of it's being worked on right now as we speak, but we'll also be coming out with a website. Along with that, we are also going to be going on the road with a No Solutions podcast studio bus.
Bing.
Yep. So that's gonna be really fun.
Dang.
And that one will be at some point we're gonna get finance. So at first we're gonna drive it around locally and probably like around a few border states or whatever. But eventually we're gonna be able to take off for 2-3 weeks, maybe a month, to go travel around the U.S.
That's neat. No Solutions podcast bus pulling up at a town near you.
Yeah.
Man, that's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
So about your season, this season, your second season, I want to go a little bit into the first season, and then I want to talk a little about your second season, how you guys are starting that off and what's going on with that. But your first season, man, I remember watching the first episode or two, and you guys went from like nervous as hell to like the second, third episode, like professionals.
Man,
I mean, Mark, this is a funny guy right here.
No, Mark was professional.
This
from the
guy
beginning.
right here, and I'm gonna be honest, because I do watch the episodes. I don't watch them all, but I do watch a lot of them. And when I watch them, I try to watch them all the way through the end because, man, I mean, crazy thing about it is friends and family don't seem to be as supportive as strangers.
Yeah.
And what really trips me out about that is, I mean, people will go out and they'll represent a whole bunch of people that they don't even know. And, you know, you come out with your podcast and you're expecting, I mean, you know, hundreds of people. And these people are constantly on the web, constantly on these social media sites, and you can't get them to click for you.
Yeah.
It's like
that. I stopped taking that to heart. At first I did. That was pretty big deal to me. But then I was like, man, ESAI, you can't expect stuff from people. You know, you can't expect them to want to watch or, you know, like, I think our podcast is a little bit harder for people to click on just because they don't know what stupid crap we're going to say. But like, I'd encourage people a lot more to click on these First Cup KCs because for one, in the heading, it shows you what you're going to take from it, you know? So like if it clicks to you, like if you're like, oh, I could learn something from this.
all right.
Yeah, we're not necessarily bait clips. We're not like, oh, listen to the story of how we almost died or some shit. Like,
we just put like describing words of what the podcast or like a funny thing that was said in the podcast. Like we had a Marine dude on and he was talking about how his driver when he was in Tokyo, they call him Honcho. Like that's what they call him. It's like teacher or what is it?
I don't fucking remember.
Yeah, it's like a respect thing out there.
Right.
But and then they say arigato to say goodbye or hello or whatever. I don't know. So I just named the podcast Arigato Hancho. You know, so we don't really try too hard with those.
Right. Oh man.
Yeah.
Dude, you guys, the first season to me was pretty interesting. I remember a couple of episodes that I walked away with a new knowledge. And that was one you had a girl on there that was she had dreads.
Oh, Nicolette.
Yeah.
Yes. That was a pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I know it was a little trippy.
No, that was interesting for us too.
But it was interesting because you just don't hear that type of, you just don't.
Right.
Just learning about like spirituality and stuff is definitely rare. And people don't gravitate towards it because it's like hippy dippy to them, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my favorite episode was, of course, the one I was in.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of them. You guys had a singer on there.
That was still Nicolette too. She did the.
Was it a guy?
Oh yeah,
it was a guy.
Oh, so that was.
It was Red Light.
The second season. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the second season.
Yeah. And we haven't had him on as a guest yet, but he came and did a song.
Yeah, that was pretty neat.
Yeah,
that was pretty neat.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he's a beast.
I might try to get Jay-Z in here to do a song.
Hell yeah. No, I'm trying to get out of the studio too. We're trying to get the one down the street.
Right, and I seen it when I drove through. I was like, man, that's pretty.
There's a
That's
studio
what he was
down the
talking
street?
about.
It's an empty office
Well,
space.
it's an office.
Oh,
space.
okay. Then we convert it and all that shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's got a gated area where you can park the
bus,
the No Solutions bus.
Yeah.
Oh shit. That's
Yeah.
pretty
No,
cool.
it's like convenient as hell being right here. You know?
Yeah, it's right. Where are you going? Going to the shop.
Yeah.
Going to the office.
Right.
Right down the street.
Mm-hmm.
Are you taking the car? No, silly. I'm walking.
Actually, I am taking the car. It's cold out, Chuck.
Well, yeah, right now it is.
Maybe
it
I'll
is,
bike, but you know,
Yeah,
I'll
no.
walk.
So before I forget,
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about the GOAT. I think that's what we're calling it, right? The GOAT.
What we
The
referring
basement
to?
one.
Go.
The podcast in the basement.
No, what'd you call it? It was
Scapegoat.
Scapegoat podcast, like the scapegoat.
What are we talking about? I might have missed this.
Pretty much
So-
80-20.
Yeah.
And we ain't going to say what 80-20 means yet. It'll come out in a little while. We got some gear we're going to be bringing
It's
out
actually
with that.
80-19-1. You're the one. No, I'm just,
Oh, shit. Okay.
I'm just messing with you. No, but scapegoat. Yeah, that's going to be another podcast that we're going to be doing together.
And we're gonna have some funny people on this one.
Oh yeah, that one's going to be more shooting the shit on the couch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And definitely shooting the shit on the couch, shooting the shit on the pool table.
Yeah.
Hell, we can even go out back and light a bonfire.
Yeah.
Shoot the shit on the bonfire.
And not censoring Mark on that one. So
Oh,
you have
we
fun.
we don't want to censor this show, so honestly, guys, you're gonna probably have to be careful.
Yeah.
With this podcast.
Don't watch it with your kids. In
It's
the
a
room
little
or
different.
nothing. Yeah.
It's only gonna come out after 8.
Yeah, past their bedtime. That's how you know.
PG-13, rated R.
Oof.
But we will get a lot of things accomplished on that show, just like we do with all these other ones. So
Yeah, for sure.
Mark,
What's up?
have you had any time to think about your role in the scapegoat?
Oh,
Shit. You know what? Talking shooting the shit. Shooting the shit. I'm pretty good at that. I'll give a lot of back and forth. It's all depending, because like whether or not I'm gonna start pissing you off, I don't know.
Right.
Just because I'll accidentally, and I do this a lot by accident. I'll just start shooting some shit with someone, like even a friend, and I'll say something that goes a little too far, and they get a little pissed off at me. I'm like, hey man, we're just joking
This
around.
is a
here.
podcast.
Yeah.
So he ain't met Darren.
no, Darren's
yeah.
pretty wild too.
Yeah.
Darren's that same.
Okay, then we'll
Darren,
To me, you guys push the boundaries a little bit.
yes. And that's
it.
why it's important to have you two
Yeah.
on the show. It's going to be a very important thing to have you two, especially you, Mark. Man, like I said, I've watched you.
I'll tell you what, although I can still do it, but coming up, it's going to be a little tricky for me, just because I'm starting to set myself a little apart, only because like my modeling career, like if I push a little,
Modeling.
yeah. So I'm with the modeling agency right now. So if I start pushing a little too far into some dark areas, it might hurt the other side. But I
Yeah.
think I can find the perfect balance.
You'll find a balance. for
because
sure.
that's the one thing.
He's
like,
going to fuck up.
I might, some serious shit's gonna happen on the show, and just
Yeah.
no, because I like to think, because my plans is to really just focus on like a lot of my shit for this year, especially is just kind of like up my own level of like creative content. Like I really want to do a bunch of shit like on my own, and then even release it onto the website too.
Yeah, because that's where you've been lacking. Is you've never had like a social media presence.
Not really.
You stood away from it, which is good.
Yeah,
you're kind of
so-
at an advantage, you know.
Yeah, so I'm coming out of the blue or out of nowhere on this time. So that's part of it. I'm kind of worried about it, because my thought process is if I ever do become famous in some way, I don't want to shelter myself. Like I want to be the same I am, the way you see me acting and personality wise.
Right.
Like I don't want to be like, because you know how a lot of famous people right now, 10 years ago, they say something and then they're fired, 10 years later for something stupid. Well, if I'm acting the same way throughout the whole time, you can't really give me for that.
That might get worse too.
Yeah.
They might have it queued ready to go when they want to take you down. You know,
Yeah,
like you
right?
said this shit.
But then at the same time, though, you might have some broadcast program TV station that might be looking for that type of personality.
Yeah.
That's true. I
And
mean,
they will
like,
yank you up quick.
yeah, because
So-
that my kind of comedy I really love to do. It's just like this kind of that Seth Rogen, all those guys would do, is just shooting shit, just the way they talk and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so your second season.
Yeah.
Your second season started. You guys are what, 3 or 4 episodes into it?
11.
11?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is 11, huh?
Mm-hmm. Moving slow, but moving.
So now you guys are doing 1 podcast a week. Or is it 2?
Or is it one a week?
And I know, and I remember at one point it was 2, but then you became a father, and you probably became
I
a
might-
model. I
that
want
was
to know,
good.
what are you
Yeah.
modeling, man?
That's
Don't say the wrong thing on this show.
Underwear.
I'll model whatever. Man. I don't care.
I mean, is it like
No, well, the whole purpose is something. It's actually something me and ESAI did together. We both
I'm
did
his
the model.
manager.
Yeah, he gets like an ownership fee because he discovered me. Let's just say that he helped me get into it. So no, essentially what I'm doing is it's mostly the modeling aspect is just what the agency is, but I'm trying to do it more for the acting part. I'm trying to do commercial work because my long goal term is to become an actor. That's what I want to do.
right?
So
And commercials are where you're going to get financially stable to do that.
right.
Yeah.
Although, like, and this is an interesting part of it is because right now I've told him about it. It's the fear right now because to become an actor in terms of commercials, I'm gonna have to start giving up a lot of time for not a ton of pay just because I'm a nobody right now.
That's everybody.
Exactly, but and then the part of it is like, at what point do I take that risk, leave my job, and start pursuing that full time? You know what I mean? Like it's a big risk, and I'm still working out like when's the right time.
So you know who made that risk?
Who? Yeah.
So 2018.
Uh-huh.
This is real story. ESAI knows. I'm working. I ain't gonna say the name of the job. I don't want them coming back and trying to cap. But I went to school. I went to college. I went to electrical school. Worked at this job doing electrical work. Working bucket truck. Man, I worked here for 7 years, and the whole 7 years I worked, I lifted the company. I created ideas, and those ideas were ideas that should have helped change the company in a better way. But they would basically tell me, this is not your company. This is ours. We're going to do it the way we think so, but we're going to do it the way we want to do it. So
Right.
when you can't change the program and the program really ain't a good program, what do?
You leave it and start your own.
You leave it. Yeah. And trust me, I was also put in a position where I had no other choice because I went to school. And guess what? You have to pay that back.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of student loans, and I had to pay that student loan back, and they were garnishing those checks. And I would literally work overtime. And by the time your overtime hits and the taxes for the overtime come out and then they garnish you, you're walking away with nothing. So right. I expected at that point that my employer would see, hey, this guy brought us out of debt. This guy kind of helped push our company back into gear when we were pretty much losing it. We see he's going through something, so let me try to help him out. Nope, that really wasn't the case. So I took a leap. But before I took a leap, I had to plan. How did I plan? What did I do? I literally went out and found someone that would would fund me. Mm-hmm. I had to find a funder, and then I had to find another partner because I knew I wasn't equipped to handle a whole company at this magnitude by myself. So I literally went and found someone that I trusted, which is Darren. And to this day, he's proven to be probably the biggest, the best choice I made. We're 4 years in April. This past 2021 was probably the biggest year we had in sales. And Luminous Technologies is growing. Now we're on our way to Texas. We're looking at starting a episode. We're looking to launch. What is it? We're looking to start a location down there in McAllen, Texas. So and that's this year, 2022. We're going to try to get there before the end of the year. We still got some structuring we have to do here in Kansas City, but once that's done, we're on our way down there. But to get back to that question, it is hard. Mark, when I left my job, I literally text them. I still have the same text in my phone that I text them because I text them at night. And I basically told them, I'm taking a chance. I can do this. I think I can do it. So pretty much adios.
Yep.
I didn't know. I literally had a conversation with my wife and my family in the basement. And I told them, I'm about to take a leap. I don't know where this is going. I am literally in debt. Everything in debt. But if I don't do anything now, I won't never get what I want out of life. I'll continue to go downhill in debt, and I'll forever have that regret that
I'm not taking that leap.
Yep, exactly. So when you say it's hard, it is. Yeah. It's hard to make the decision. It's not really hard to make the leap.
Sure.
It's hard to make the decision because, like you said, you have financial responsibilities that you have to make sure are satisfied every single month. Man, I'm telling you, I went to my landlord. I went to the landlord and said, listen, I know this is going to sound crazy, but I ain't going to be able to pay you for like 5 or 6 months. I started my own company and I don't know when I'm going to be paid. And they looked at me and they said, God is on you. God is with you. And for you even coming and telling us this and speaking with us, don't forget about us. Pay us when you can, and please remember us, but we'll be lenient. And 5 months, dude, 5 months. I literally paid every ounce of that back, every cent I paid back except $1,000. And that last 1,000, when we got down to the 1,000, the lady was like, hey, we need some work done. You want to trade?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah. So God is good. But like I said, sometimes you got to take the leap and fail. I mean, because I would rather take the leap and fail and say, hey, well, I failed, but guess what? I can still start back over what I was doing in the first place because it's low and mediocre. Right. But when you take it to the next level, I'm just saying dreams come true when you take big leaps.
And at some point you master failing.
Yes, and I mastered it, man. Yeah. You're talking to a person.
It doesn't make sense, but you can master failing for sure.
Oh, man, I got family. I got friends looking at me now like, who the hell is this guy? Yeah. Where the hell did he come from? I mean, I was in prison at 14. I was back in prison at 21. I was back in prison at 28. And I went to prison my last time at 42. And
how old are you now?
I just turned 49.
And now you are the host of the First KC podcast.
And I own an electrical lighting company. I'm in the process of writing my own autobiography.
I was worried about if you're still doing that. Yeah, how's the book going?
Oh, man, it's tedious because I got so much going on.
Sure.
But, man, whenever I get a chance to indulge in it, man, it's emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because that's one of my favorite jokes I like to tell people. It's like, you know what? My plan is to become an actor. And if I make it famous, I go, damn, you know what? I'm not going to have a good story. I had a normal ass life. Man, I just went to school. It was normal. The most I have is depression. But everything else, man, I wasn't in no gangs. I barely did drugs. That's boring. I can't sell that.
Didn't go out much.
Nah, you can sell it.
I don't know.
You got to exaggerate it.
Well, not exaggerate it. It's just like this, man. Everyone's story is a story. We all have a story to share. Mm-hmm. And it might not be a gangster story because every autobiography you watch on TV isn't a gangster story. It's about depression. It's about people overcoming things.
The good ones are gangster stories. You know, to me, Chuck, I understand what you're saying, but I feel that you gotta know what sells.
Yeah,
you know,
you do.
And if so, like your life compared to my life, you've had a longer life, so you're able to experience more.
Yeah,
but you experience a lot of things that I will probably never experience, you know?
Oh yeah, you better not.
Yeah, no, right. Yeah. No,
maybe
but
I might go to jail for better something story. Little just to give me some rep.
Right. No, that makes for better story for sure.
Yeah.
It keeps readers interested in it for sure.
Yeah, because they want to see the outcome. They know the outcome and they know where you came from, but now they want to know what happened, what transpired.
Yeah.
But bottom line, Mark, find a way. It's there.
He's got it.
You too.
Oh, I got
it. Because you know what you want.
Yeah.
You both know what you want. You got to remember, people will talk you out of it. You'll have negative thoughts that try to push you back away from whatever it is you want. And the main thing is, don't let that.
Yeah.
Don't let that stop you. Because think how many, dude, you're gonna fail. Yeah. And if you fail, you're taking your whole family.
I got one short story.
Kick it.
All right, so it's along the lines of that. So, like, we wouldn't be right here if I would have listened to one person. And this
Can we name that person?
No.
No, okay.
This person, I kind of somewhat look up to this person.
You're not very tall, so you know.
Piss off.
Very tall.
But this person, I was explaining my plans of. This was when we were on break from our podcast, and we were getting everything together. And I was talking to him, and I was like, man, I really can't start a podcast until I get my new place. And then we talked about like life and stuff, but at the end he was like, you know, you really shouldn't buy something. He was like, you're young. He was like, you got money saved? And I was like, no, not really. And he was like, well, you got money to put a down payment? I was like, yeah, but I mean, that's it. Like just a down payment pretty much. And he like was not aggressive, but like really persistently trying to tell me that it's not going to work. And
Podcast.
No, like
plan that you had.
The plan that I had to get
Getting the plays, to getting the...
Yeah. But like if I wouldn't have done it, you know, we wouldn't be here. You wouldn't have your podcast for sure.
And like a part of it, he says, like, do you ever consider like, okay, were they looking out for me? Or were they kind of looking for my downfall? Because honestly, part of me, like when you had your baby, like I was like, man, I'm so worried about you. Like I knew you had a plan and I knew you could make it through, but I was like, I'm so worried. Like, he's got a baby. Maybe just hanging on a little longer at the job wouldn't be the worst thing.
But see, I feel like that that's a negative impact on people's mental, because someone like me or like you that has aspirations to do bigger things, if you have someone saying, maybe you shouldn't do that, for one, I always look at that person and see what they've done with their life.
Exactly.
If they
Are you a good example of
That's
what
where
you
I
just
was
said?
about to go to.
Yeah, because
if
they've never had aspirations of doing anything more than just working their 9 to 5, bringing food to the table, and you know, being happy with their family, which is fine. That's nothing wrong with that. That's an ideal thing in America. But there's people like me and you who have bigger aspirations that want to do more. And when someone comes to you and says, "Oh, well, that's a risk," well, duh. Like
that's the point. I mean,
the one thing that I want people to take from this podcast, like, you can ignore all the stuff I said before this. Just take this. If you want to do something with your life, if you have bigger goals and bigger aspirations, you have to take risk. Like, you can't be afraid at all. You have to. And if you take a risk and you're at a loss, work your ass harder to bring it back, because you're never down. Like my bank account has got to zero probably 6 times in the past 4 years.
How many times did your heart beat a minute?
Oh, stop beating. Stop beating. Like I was
I'm just saying,
it gets stressful.
The longer, it doesn't matter where the money goes. It doesn't matter where all the material stuff goes. As long as that heart's still beating in that chest, you're rich as hell. Yeah, you're not broke.
No, that's true. Very true.
So,
but yeah, no, the being down, don't get discouraged. Just work harder. That's pretty much what I'm saying.
Oh man, like I say, dude, when I jumped out, it was hard.
Belly flop, huh?
Trust me, man, it was hard. But guess what? When we got that first $56,000 check,
like shit,
and it came to my house.
Inspiring, exactly.
It just showed up in the mail. Like
he was like, babe,
56,000. You know, and like I say, you take chances. You take a lot of them, as many chances as you can take, because like those no's, you're going to get to a yes eventually. Yeah. And dude, we searched for someone to fund us. We searched, and everybody turned us down. Everybody turned us down. Crazy thing about it is some of the same people that turned me down
came back later.
Now I'm partners in a whole nother company that I founded. And guess what? I'm sitting across the table from one of my partners.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and that was a leap. You know, that video that I put out, you know, I recorded that in my closet.
Yeah.
You would never even know, but it was because I got this wild hair in my ass. I'm serious, man. Yeah. I was like, dude, I can do it. I want to do it. And I set it up, TAMIC. I came up with the name TAMIC, the American Mastermind Investment Club. TAMIC, it's a good ring. And structure it. Now, how do I structure? I need people. So basically, I created this whole thing that I can't do things on my own. I need other people.
Yeah.
because we all need other people. There's nothing we can do on our own, really, that doesn't require the help of someone else sooner or later or somewhere down the line. So I know I want to get to $20 million before 2025. In order for me to be able to do that in the next 3 years, I need help. So guess what? There's always greater strength in numbers. So I created this concept. If I go out and get 15 people that think like me, that want the same things as I, to invest and create residual income to where we can start making the moves that we want.
Building jobs.
Yeah. Instead of trying to work through a 10-hour day, now we have 3 hours of that time given back to us because we're making money somewhere else and we can trade. Now we're swapping our time for money. You know what I'm saying?
Time is more valuable than money.
Yes, always. Always. That's why I say as long as this heart's beating, you're rich. You're rich as hell. So, but it's a year in?
A little over a year, yeah.
And this year right here is the year we ramp up because we got a lot of money in there now and we're getting ready to do some serious things. So the bottom line is this, Mark. Bottom line is this, ESAI. I know you guys been doing this podcast thing for over a year now. Mm-hmm. And dude, you didn't stop. I mean, even when those views weren't the views that you wanted, you kept showing up. And the crazy thing about that is the more you show up, the more you continue to show up, even when it looks like people ain't there, when someone finally notices every single thing you did, all those episodes, now all those episodes become valid.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
All of them, every single one. And I was a guest on that show. You know what I'm saying? So, and there's a lot of people that you guys did stuff with. You guys had a lot of interviewers.
Yeah.
And one of those interviewers might blow up one day. You know, you just never know. So
right.
you come up with an idea and you once you found it, you feed it, you water it, and you keep, no matter if you're not getting that attention or not. You know how many cups I put out? I put 5 cups out in a week. I get up every morning and I post those things. And guess what? Sometimes I get 2 or 3 clicks. Sometimes I get 127, 26 viewers. And sometimes I get 300-400, you know. It doesn't matter to me. I really don't look at it because I think I'm addicted to it now. I literally get up like, what am I right about? What am I right about?
Yeah.
And I have to decide, and it just flows out now. And it's like, I have no worry about if this is going to do something or not because I know it is, because I'm not going to stop until it does.
Yep.
So this stuff that we're doing right now is not for nothing. Mm-hmm. It's going to end up being something. No Solutions Podcast is probably going to turn into a No Solutions Podcast world. You know what I'm saying? Where there are people that have to come to you. You know what I'm saying? Right now, we're all on the SE side of the quadrant. We're trying to get over to the business and the investment side of the quadrant, to where you'll have S and E's working for you guys. Well, that's pretty much what your idea about this new podcast,
the platform, the website. Yeah.
Yes, man, that can create, because now people can go to that podcast, that .com, and if they don't want to watch No Solutions podcast, they don't have to.
Yep.
If they want a more religious podcast or a more political podcast that's aiming more towards Democratic or aiming more towards
left, right,
middle. Now you can go on that site and you can literally choose your pain.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can literally choose. If you want to laugh, find something funny.
Comedy. No Solutions.
I mean, if you want something scary, what's
Taco Podcast.
Deaf Taco Podcast. Yep. You know, there's so many different, and that's interesting. I've even watched that podcast.
Yeah, talking about the horror films from
the
80s, 70s.
I mean,
new ones,
people will. There's people out there's a genre out there that will get into that.
Yep.
So, like I say, man, right now we're just doing what we can do.
Yep.
But who knows what 2022 is going to bring in. But anyway, man, any positive thoughts that you guys want to end this with?
Mark?
2022 is our year.
Yep.
Yes.
There you go.
It is. 22 is our year. What about you?
You guys go find us at No Solutions Podcast on all platforms. You can catch me on the Metaverse at Dave Skylark.
The Metaverse.
But one message for people that might be interested in starting a podcast. My big thing why I like doing it is because, especially for you talkers who love talking, who have children, my the way I understand it best is me creating hundreds and hundreds of podcasts throughout my life. It's just going to leave a catalog of stuff for my daughter to go look at after I'm gone.
Yeah.
You know, because like after Leo passed, I felt like my memory of him was fading. Mm-hmm. And like there was times where like I felt like I needed to talk to him about something and I couldn't. But if you start your own podcast and say you talk about stuff that is eventually going to go to your daughter as far as the knowledge goes. Mm-hmm. And maybe she's going through some stuff, or in my case, but maybe she's going through some stuff and she watches a podcast and she sees something you're talking about and hears it and it hits home for her. Yeah. Like it could be something very therapeutic for future family to come and stuff. So.
Oh yeah. You guys are on TikTok. Yeah. Under No Solutions Podcast. Yeah. You guys are on the Metaverse. Yeah. And the Metaverse is both Facebook and Instagram, right?
Is it Facebook? Well, yeah, Instagram. Facebook owns Instagram, but yeah, Facebook.
Yeah, so the Metaverse, it's pretty crazy. So you guys are on all platforms. YouTube too.
Yep, YouTube. Yeah, we're going to get away from YouTube once the website's open, but yeah.
Right. I can't wait till that happens.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you guys for joining us on this beautiful Saturday morning. Follow me on all the social media platforms. I post morning blogs Monday through Friday. Check me out, The First Cup KC on Facebook. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend. And like always, stay positive, people.